Hello everybody, and Happy New Year. I'm here with Maya and Rebecca for our fourth, I think, Changemaker chat across the globe. I'm Suzanne Fox calling from Maine. It's snow everywhere when I look out the window. It's 7 o'clock in the morning for me. Maya, where are you calling in from, and what time is it for you?
So I'm calling in from Kochi, Kerala, the southernmost part of India. It's 5:30 in the evening and very hot, not at all snowing here.
And Rebecca, how about you?
I'm from Taiwan, Taipei now, and it's 8 in the evening. And I think I'm somewhere between snowing and hot. So yeah, I'm in the middle.
In the middle. Well, I love it that, I'm just starting my day in the snow in Maine and your afternoon, it's hot in Taiwan. I think it's just amazing how we can all come together and have these conversations. So just as a reminder, these changemaker chats across the globe, Maya and I'm going to have her give a little update about her organization, but we met last February in India when I was there doing some workshops on stigma. And it's just so inspiring when you connect with people who you share a purpose, a vision. And Maya is just a mountain mover doing incredible work in India. We love each other and have so much fun. Just the purpose of these gatherings, honestly, is if we're sitting around a kitchen table, three women, just having a cup of tea. So we're having a virtual cup of tea, but I think we just talking about mental health, there's so many different perspectives. We can have so much to learn from each other. So we just want to have a casual conversation. And Rebecca, to learn from you about like mental health in Taiwan. We want to talk about it and what's it like and everything like that. But first, Maya, you jump in and say hi and talk a little bit about Mind Empowered, and then we'll introduce Rebecca.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So I run an NGO along with my sister, Srila Menon. She's currently in Mumbai. And we both run a social NGO called Mind Empowered, which focuses on creating mental health awareness amongst the youth. We also do inclusive education for children with disability and empower women. So these are our three verticals. Basically, I am a computer engineer. My sister is an HR professional. And we came together because we realized that a lot of youth was going through a lot of mental health issues during the lockdown. That's when we started this organization. And we do a lot of awareness programs. In fact, next month is going to be the first mental health festival of Kerala, the state where I am in, whereby we are doing a lot of games, workshops, because here mental health is seen as very dreary and dark, and there's a lot of stigma attached to it. So we want to change that. We want to say mental health can be a lot of fun. There can be art and theater and music and dance, and our theme is resilience. So we have the tagline saying elevate yourself by yourself, because we believe that all of us can pick ourselves up just by ourselves. So the first step to resilience is self-love. So we're doing it on Valentine's Day, where
Mm.
the whole world keeps saying I love you. So before saying I love you, say I love me, love yourself, and then
Oh,
go ahead and say I love you. So yeah.
oh my gosh. I love that theme. It's so important. I mean, honestly, there's so much need for more love and community, and
Yes,
we have to start
sure.
with ourselves and make sure we take care of ourselves. And so that's so great. So excited. I wish I was
Thank you.
going to be there, but I'm so excited to hear about it. And so
Thank
Rebecca and I met in Edinburgh. Was it 2 years ago? Is it already 2 years ago? Two
you.
years ago, where we were both doing a master's in global mental health and society. And we immediately just liked each other so much and went through that whole very intense year. Um, but we had a lot of conversations about, action and what we can do for change. And so Rebecca, just say hi, introduce yourself, and like just yeah, just introduce yourself first, and then we'll jump into questions and conversation.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rebecca Huang. And yeah, Suzanne gave the background story of how we met. And for me, I come from Taiwan. And basically, Taiwan is we have a very good national health care. However, it only covers physical health care. Mental health wasn't considered inside the healthcare. So it's extremely pricey and extremely unaffordable for the average wage person to actually afford a session. So that's why it got me into interest about how Europe, where social science is studied and practiced, how do they actually work with mental health? What can we learn about it from each other? So that's why I enrolled into the master's and I met Suzanne, met a lot of people during the way, and figured there's so much to learn from each other.
Yeah, it's so true. So we've just like I'm so interested in mental health education, and we have such a long way to go. There's talk in the United States of integrating mental health education into the school curriculum, but very slow, if happening at all, some places more so than others. But what is it like in terms of just what did you learn? And maybe it's different now for kids in middle school, primary school. Like, is there a place in the school system for talking about mental health? Is there any, how is it addressed at all?
Hmm. To be frank, most of our courses in health or mental health is sacrificed for our other more important subjects. Because our enrollment studies, yeah, I think India has the same issue. Yeah, but our enrollment requires us to take heavy exams to go into universities or even high schools. So students have to study very hard to get into these universities or like top universities. And the subjects that are accounted for are like math and English and language and like physics. So like your physical education and music and so mental health and health, these courses are often just canceled to be replaced by math or whatever courses that's more important. So we basically don't really have the exposure of mental health during like our school years. We don't know how to regulate our feelings. How do we reach for help when we need help? How do we help others when we see like our friends, our classmates are suffering? How do we do these? We don't learn from those. And I think we need more room to actually discuss about this and how can we actually introduce these into the school campus so that it's not too late. Yeah.
Wow. So it sounds like right now there's kind of nothing that you know of in place for addressing mental health issues. Is that
Yeah.
kind of, yeah. And do teachers and Maya, I'm curious too in India, like do teachers get trained in prevention or is it just not
Um,
a topic that's addressed at all, or is there some training that teachers get about, is there a school guidance counselor in Taiwan school in
yeah.
India? Like, is there a person that is trained to address these issues?
Well, in India, we every school is supposed to have a counselor, and most of them, even colleges nowadays, there's more awareness, I would say, than it was when I was in school, for sure. But what Rebecca said is so true. Like all, subjects like AI, computers, physics, maths take the front stage, right? And in order to study these subjects, your mental health should be good, which should be a top priority. But that is always sacrificed at the altar for
Mm.
science and other related subjects. Yeah, that's the sad story. And what we are trying to do, and we hope to do it this year, is try and put it in the curriculum for starting with government schools. So that's what we are trying, because if government schools pick it up, because they are usually the marginalized, so part of the society, and if we can do it there and show the impact, then maybe the private schools will pick it up. Because for private schools, currently it is how many A plus or how many, 10 CGPAs or all of that is the current record. So, but what we are trying to do is try to go from so I work with one government school and that's what I've been taught so our academic year starts from June. So we thought we'll try and incorporate it in that school first as a pilot program and then show it to the other
Mm.
schools. And then, because for a change to come, it will happen slowly. But we need to do something about it and not think, that not do it at all. It's better than not doing it at all, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I am planning to do. But how is it there, Rebecca? Do you have school counselors, college counselors, all of those things?
Well, we do. One school should at least have one, and for high schools and junior high schools. However, recently, less and less schools can afford that because we have a shortage of children right now. Like we are not giving birth. I think we are actually one of the lowest birth rate countries now. So less and less schools are willing to afford a full-time counselor.
Mm.
And instead, they would team up with neighboring counselors. Like this counselor would visit this school on Mondays and Wednesdays,
Mm.
and she'll visit another school on the remaining days. However, that means if a student really needs her help, they barely can see her. There's going to be a very long line, and it takes, I think there was a 2, 3 months wait before you can actually see someone for help. And then it's only for one session for like 30 minutes-ish. That's
Yeah.
not solving anything.
No. No, that takes 30 minutes just to introduce yourself and share a minute about yourself. And then it sounds like after you have your session, it sounds like there's not a lot of access
Follow up.
to follow up or people who look for private therapists they can't afford or yeah.
Yeah, therapy I think is costly across the world. It doesn't matter whether you're in Taiwan or US or India, right? Therapy is really expensive. So that's what we are trying to do is try to look it from the lens of a common man and try and train the trainers, which is one thing, the teachers, or even try and make people aware, just like CPR, where if you know CPR, you can save a life. There's something called QPR. I
Mhm.
did a gatekeeper training on QPR, and it's like you do that, and you can save a life as well. So try and do a training so as to tell other people what they should do in times if you come across someone who's going through a mental health issue,
Yeah,
right? Before you refer them to a psychologist or psychiatrist, you
right.
have to refer them, but in the interim period, just give a first aid, which I think each one of us can do. So I think we should look at that to start
Mhm.
or like the starting level. Because like Rebecca said, like 2, 3 months wait. two,
Yeah.
three months, we don't even have 2, 3 days. 2, 3 months is a long time, right?
It's so true. There's so much you can do with peer support and so much you could do with community-based interventions that make people feel less alone. That's definitely what we're doing with the Yellow Tulip Project. We're not mental health professionals, although now, Rebecca, you and I have our degrees in global mental health, but the whole focus of the Yellow Tulip Project is to build community, remind people that they're not alone, that there's hope and there's help. And the simple act of coming together and planting a community garden or sharing space to talk. We turned 10 this April, which is kind of amazing to imagine 10 years ago. But Maya, I like what you said, like you're starting this mental health conference. The air I breathe is always, you've got to start somewhere. You take one step. You don't know, are 5 people going to come to your conference or 500 people come to your conference, but you've got to take that first step. And I love that none of us came from mental health background. And the fact that you, Maya, were teaching, as I remember, computer science courses and realizing that your students were suffering. And this, you can't push this topic under the rug. So the fact that you without this mental health background, knew there's a need here that needs to be addressed, and I love that. And it's sort of same with what we did, that wait, there's this stigma is real. And as Rebecca and I know, it's so different in so many different cultures. And what can we all learn from each other about stigma? So even though, Rebecca, there are a counselor that comes once a week, there's probably still a layer of stigma to see the therapist at school, and so. I mean, one thing that I think you've both heard me talk about, but I'm really passionate about parent education because I think a lot of this starts with the parents who don't know. I was a parent, I had no idea my daughter was suffering from depression, was purposely cutting herself, I had no idea. And I think I'm a loving, connected, kind mom, but I didn't know. And I'm not alone. I know so many parents don't know. And so if we can Maya and I have talked about doing some sort of parent education classes. It's so important. You got to start somewhere. And if we organize a mental health first aid for parents class, even if 5 parents come, it's better. You've got to start somewhere, right?
True, very true. Is it a big stigma there, Rebecca, in your Taiwan mental health?
I think recently it's getting better because when I just enrolled in the master's course, I shared this with Suzanne previously a bit. So our government was then rolling out a program to support a specific age range with helping their therapist sessions. And because this age range was committing a lot of suicide. So they started with that. And now 2 years passed, they actually expanded to the entire society to cover 3 free counseling sessions now. So I think the current government, they did a lot trying to support everyone to know that there's resources there. And that also affect how people see mental health about, is it a stigma, or now they don't really, they're gradually starting to accept that you might have a need to go to a therapist and go talk to someone. So they don't see it as bad as previously. But I
Yeah.
would say, yeah, just baby steps.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, yeah, no, they are huge steps. They're huge steps because I was just saying, come January 1st, everybody's like, hey, I've taken a gym membership. I'm gonna get back in shape. And they'll proclaim their physical health part, but nobody
Mhm.
says, hey, I've gone to a psychologist, and though I was depressed, I'm feeling better now. Nobody talks about that. Why? Physical health, mental health, both are equally important, right?
And
But
that's
yeah.
true. Yeah.
So we
I'm
need
curious.
to have these conversations, I
Yeah,
think. It's very
totally.
important.
Rebecca, do you know, like I'm familiar with the rates of, the suicide rate in the United States, youth suicide rate is like, it's the second leading cause of death in the state that I'm in of young people. And the rates, don't quote me on the number right now, but I know the past few years, and particularly now in the space that we're in, the anxiety and depression among young people is surging. It's a crisis. And do you know by any chance like what the statistics are for young people suffering from mental health issues, or what is the suicide rate in Taiwan? Or is that, again, I don't mean to put you on the spot, and it doesn't matter if you know the numbers, but is it like, it's a pretty critical issue where I am. I mean, 1 in 2 people, we're the, richest country in the world, and yet young people are taking their lives. It's so
Yeah.
awful. And
It- yeah. I don't have the numbers right now, but previously, at least when I was doing my dissertation, I think it was the age of 15 to 29, which is like a very youth age where you're like figuring yourself out, figuring life out. And these are the same age where the suicidal rates rocketed compared to all the other age groups. That's why the Taiwanese government decided to start with this age group and look into um, what the schooling counseling system cannot cover. They offered for three free counseling sessions for those who graduated uni but still can't afford counseling yet.
Mhm.
So yeah, those were the top critical age range
Mm.
that was rising now.
Yep.
Previously. Yeah.
Yep.
One other question I wanted to ask, Rebecca. Like, what I have seen here, even if the school or the college has counselors, the students prefer not to go to that particular counselor, maybe because of, fear of identification or that alienation, all of that, because they feel that, they might get identified with their issues. Is that similar over there, or no? They're okay with going to counselors and there's no such issues there.
Mm, for me, I've interviewed one student who went to counselor. However, because she get to talk to people, so she would prefer to go rather than actually not go. But I'm not sure if it's an individual case. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they over here they go, but to go to a school counselor or a college counselor who knows the other teachers and if there's a talk. So yeah, that's what I've seen. There is a slight resistance, is what I've seen, to go to that particular counselor. But yeah, so just want to know if this is similar there or not. I think we have similar cultures, right? So.
Yeah. I think
Exactly.
for us, because our school is quite huge, so
Mm.
not every counselor would know every single teacher. And that helps create a buffer. And also, if the student grows trust through the sessions, it would help him or her go. However, it's a very hard step to go in the first time when you don't know if you can trust this therapist or not. That's
True.
the main issue and trust. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I mean, how many times when my daughter was in crisis and we desperately needed to find a therapist, and finding one is hard. Finding one that you connect with is hard. And we went through a couple that we met that was not a fit at all. And then we finally found someone who was wonderful, a child psychiatrist, and he doesn't take insurance. And, it's just like the barriers that keep people from getting help. I mean, I'm interested in some ways these AI ChatGPT therapy and all these online therapy. In some ways, it's dangerous because they're not trained professionals. And there's been cases that I've read in the United States of, someone takes their life because the advice from the ChatGPT was not, and parents are suing. But on the other hand, it's so interesting how much need there is for people to find outlets for support. And if you have to wait because you can't find somebody, or you don't like that person, or that person that you like doesn't take insurance, ah, there's so many barriers there, right?
True. So that's why it's necessary that we empower the people, the community, right? I mean, there is no replacement for experts, but experts are so less and problems are so many. So if we can at least give the first aid before, so I so totally believe in that. Even it could be high school students helping out the, junior students. But then there are so many other complications that can come in. So how do you know whether, what needs to be, because it's such a delicate space, mental health. So that's why there are so many, like Suzanne, you said, right? Barriers,
Yeah.
what we have to overcome a lot more. Is
But
it as expensive there, Rebecca? Like mental health? Like for a therapy session?
It's also very, I mean, not as much as compared to United States healthcare. And yeah, but compared to our own physical healthcare that is covered within the national insurance, um,
Mm.
therapy is extremely expensive. I think so because I've been through therapy myself, and the average therapy is one should I think it's 1/10 of your monthly salary. So that means if you if you are in a very harsh situation and you would need to visit weekly, that means almost half of your salary is gone.
Wow. Oh,
So
that's
Oh, that's really too much.
yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
really
Talking about insurance, I don't even know if it is covered in, I have no clue, to be honest, if it's covered here. I know
Mhm.
about insurance covering physical health, mental health, I'm not so sure. I don't know. So I can't quote. I don't know. But yeah, it is expensive. And I think like especially at that age when you're between 18 and 30, that age, 18 to 25, specifically when you're in college, you already don't have money, but you have
Yeah.
myriad other problems. and and you have to deal with that. And you can't and in India the stigma is so huge, so your parents will like, ah, no, don't go. It's changing, but yeah, so all of that also creates a very, very hard scenario, I would say. Yeah. Well, are there any steps that you take for awareness so that, just to understand what kind of awareness you in your community, the government, or even individuals, or even, nonprofits, any organizations, or anybody on an individual basis, what is it that they do to spread awareness? Is there something off the top of your head you can think of?
So I would think of, for me, because I studied psychology in my minor in my like university years, so I was more aware about how things are going on. But in the mass public, they don't really have access to it. They When they have access to it, it's usually when the problems are very, very large that they have to either go to a psychiatrist or a therapist. We don't have a daily training or a daily
Mhm.
other pathways to see what's going wrong with your life, what kind of support you need. And so things just bottle up
Yeah,
and it explodes. So that's how normal Taiwanese people go through their struggles of mental health.
Is loneliness a big deal over there for youngsters? Because I see that starting to happen here. Is loneliness like a major issue over there too for youngsters?
Mm, It's not really mentioned a lot, to be honest.
Mm.
Yeah. But like the housing market is really expensive. So people are saying that they don't want to give birth to kids because they don't want to bring kids to a very chaotic world. And so, and I also think that also affects mental health as well.
yeah, 100%. I
Yeah.
want to shift for a minute because I'm looking out the window and I'm seeing the ocean and trees and nature, nature, nature. And for me, I wrote my dissertation on nature-based interventions in mental health and gardens. I know for me, like being in nature is my therapy, along with professional therapy, but nothing makes me feel calm and quiet and centered. But I've been to Taipei for 3 days a long time ago, but I don't remember a lot of nature around. And I'm just kind of curious, and for you too, Maya, like, what does self-care look like for young people who don't have access to taking a walk in the woods? Like, what do you personally do for your own self-care, both of you? And what is an outlet for young people, would you say, for how they take care of themselves?
Uh, with respect to youngsters, for myself, well, yeah, nature, obviously. I walk a lot. I walk everywhere, and I love the nature. And um, I read books. I tell everyone that 20 minutes you should do on a daily basis. Just do what you love, whether it's drawing, gardening, cooking, anything. 20 minutes for the rest of your life. It doesn't matter 20 minutes, during exam time, doesn't matter, baby crying, doesn't matter, parents screaming, whatever, 20 minutes every day, right? And that's your me time. And that really sorts a lot of people. With respect to the youth, what we are trying to do is try and bring them in for different activities, because I've seen that social service is a sure short way of hiking up your happy hormones, right? And whatever dark phase you're going through in your life, you go, just take that one step and go volunteer and do something for someone else, and that will actually help you way more, which you don't even realize, right? So I would say that is the sure short way of getting better. Just go help someone without expecting anything in return.
I totally agree to that, actually. It just got me thinking about like my university days. Like when I'm super down, I go blood donation. I would be like, oh, okay, let me donate my blood for a while. And then that, of course, like there's a period, like I can't repeatedly do that too often. But whenever I donate blood, I do actually feel way much better about myself because I'm giving back to the society and helping people. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it's and not for the selfie moment, not for some money or accolades, just
yeah.
just helping changes you, transforms you. That's so true.
I learned a little bit later in life than I should, because it would be nice if I had a self-care practice always. But when it was 2020 during COVID, and the work I was doing at the Yellow Tulip Project is giving, 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 organizing, talking, sharing is a lot of wonderful work, but I wasn't taking care of myself. And I have my whole family, I'm taking care of my family. And then I fell and I cracked my head. I ended up in an ambulance going to the hospital and was completely fine. But there was a moment that maybe it could have gone out the other way, and maybe I wouldn't have been fine. Maybe I would have something bad, really bad happen. But I came out of the hospital that day and I looked at the sky and the ocean. I was like, I felt this new awareness of how important it is. I've got to start with myself. And so every morning, I get up really, really early and I light a candle. I take my journal. I write in my journal. I do a little breathing. I wish I could really meditate, and I'll get there at some point, but I do have some quiet. I take some deep breaths. I focus. And that simple act of, like, your conference in India is about self-love. The simple act of starting your day by taking care of yourself. I've learned to take my phone, and instead of waking up and reading all the bad news that's going on right now, I put my phone and I wait till later in the day, because otherwise I wake up and read just bad news and it's not healthy for me. Um,
Oh, yeah.
but I definitely, and I totally agree. Like, I feel right now that the fabric of our world is torn, and it's up to us to sew it back together. And the simple acts of kindness, it's not like tomorrow I can change climate change and what's happening. And I can't make big change. But you start, like we said, you start in your own backyard, you take one step, and you reach out to that one person that may need that extra shoulder to lean on, or you just make that phone call. Small steps
Yeah,
make such a
small
difference.
steps. I'll give you an example, Suzanne. I just recently went to a summit, it was last year, November, and just staying in the summit. So there are some people who are, in the summit, you go network with people and everything. So just like that, I saw one girl, she was sitting and eating alone. So I just went and sat with her. And I said, I'm coming. I hope you don't mind. I didn't want you to sit alone and eat. I'm just giving you company, right? I don't know her, she doesn't know me. Once the food is finished, we go our own ways. But just for those 5, 10 minutes, right? You are there with that person. You understand that that person is there, and maybe she wants to be alone. So, I just asked, are you okay if I join you? I just saw you were sitting alone and eating. And if it was me, I don't want to sit alone and eat. I would rather have some company. So I just asked. So, simple things. So what you said about, small changes, that even in our backyard, but those small changes will actually translate into big actions later, which we don't see because we have this view of the world, right? But you do something good, someone
Mhm.
somewhere
Yeah.
will get the benefit of that good. I totally believe in that.
Yeah.
Totally. So always do good. Because if you always do good, someone
Yeah.
somewhere is going to get it, right? So,
Yeah.
so just keep doing good all the time. Be kind in all your interactions and let that be your mantra,
Yeah.
right?
No, it's so true and so needed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, Rebecca, you and I have
totally.
talked a lot about one of these days doing stuff together in Taiwan because I used to speak Chinese. I think I can say 5 things now, but it'd be fun to do some parent workshops or something there because I think I think it's needed everywhere. It's not like I just think it'd be fun to do something like that together down the road.
Yeah, sure, that would be fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And Rebecca,
I
I don't know if you have any plans to come to India. February. It's right there, like 3 weeks later. But yeah, we are having that fest. So, but even otherwise, if you ever come to Kerala, yeah,
Yeah.
please ping me.
Yeah.
I would love to. Yeah, I would love to visit one day. But probably not this February though, because it's Lunar New Year. So my family would be like, "Where are you?"
Exactly. And then what is it, the rat this year? What is the year? Do you know?
I think it's the horse, is it? Yeah, I think it's a horse.
Okay, but we're not sure. It was my year last year. Do you know about the 12 animals, the zodiac? It's all based on the Chinese lunar calendar and
Oh, okay.
story of, and Rebecca, correct me if I'm wrong, but the animals are rushing to meet the Buddha. And
Oh,
and uh,
nice.
they're going across rivers and things. The rat jumped on the cow's back and sort of cheated. So the rat got there first. And then I don't know, the cow, the sheep, the dog, tiger, but everybody has their year. Last year was
Oh,
a snake. I'm a snake or a little dragon.
oh,
Yeah, and last year's the
interesting.
snake, then this year's the horse. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
nice.
Well,
Interesting. Oh, your New Year's coming. Nice. Happy
Yeah.
New Year.
Happy New Year. Yeah.
How do you
It's
say
like,
Happy New Year in your language?
新年快乐.
Okay, I don't know.
新
Say
is
that
like
once more.
new.
Sing.
新,
Sing.
yeah. 新 and 年 is year.
Nian. Sing
Yeah.
Nian. Okay.
And then 快乐 means happy.
Philo. Okay. Sing Nian Philo. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Sing Nian
good,
Philo.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
新年
think
快乐.
this was so much fun. Is there any other questions,
Yes.
wrap up things, or do we just say, say this was just so lovely to share space together?
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally lovely. Loved it. Loved it. Yes.
Rebecca,
Enjoyed.
thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining us. And I'm going to stop our recording and say 新年快乐 and Happy New Year. All
Thank
right. Thank you.
you.
Nian